Hey guys, my name's Gloria and welcome back to my channel. I have a brand new camera. It has autofocus, so my stupid face is never going to be fuzzy again. I can do that thing that makeup artists do. Ooh, fancy my crappy phone. And it also has a screen, a touch screen, no less. So I may be looking at my own face too much, but I will at least know what's going on and won't have to redo things later. And also I'm hoping it will improve my posture, because if you look at a lot of my videos, they start off like this and very quickly descend into hunchback territory. So hopefully it will be an improvement. I'm very happy with it. It was a joint investment for me and my boyfriend. Both of our birthdays are in April, as well as our anniversary. So we put a lot of money into this. He can take pictures of his miniatures and I can film, and it's also a great vlog video, or vlog camera as well, because it has some sort of anti-shake technology, so my shaky hands don't ruin shots. So that is cool. But today I have 4 more review books that I want to talk about, 4 more horror books. So let's get into those. So the first one I want to talk about is Terror of Breaksbeer Hall by F.R. Jameson. So this one is quite a little different. It wasn't really what I was expecting from a sort of haunted house, haunted mansion hall story. I did almost put it down, but I'm glad that I didn't. The first few chapters are from the point of view of side characters that are interacting with the main characters, and these side characters are not very nice people. They're quite misogynistic and not fun to be in the head of, but thankfully they are being conned by our main characters, so I'm glad that I continued on with the story. So the story follows 2 siblings, Simone and Robin, a brother and a sister, who make their living from conning very rich people. They have a fake children's charity that they seduce rich people that they find, who they think are deplorable in some way, people who aren't spending their money the way they should be, or who got their money from some sort of criminal or immoral activity, and they take that money for themselves. This started because the brother, who is slightly younger than his sister, was in a horrible car accident. She had to care for him, and they both came up with this scheme. It's more his than hers, but she's going along with it. And they meet a man called Breaksbeer, who owns Breaksbeer Hall, and they know about him. He was in the news. He was supposed to give money to charity and he never did, so they think he's fair game. But little do they know that he has a connection with Breaksbeer Hall, this place, and it's a connection that he cannot break, and they shouldn't want anything to do with this place or with him or his money, but they get pulled in, and they find out that there are some nefarious entities, that the entire hall of Breaksbeer is haunted and needs someone to live there so that it can suck the life out of them, and sucked into this property's orbit. And it turns out money might not be the most important thing to them anymore. So I found, like I said at the beginning, I was a little bit, wasn't sure about this one, but I ended up really enjoying it. You're mostly with the character of Simone, who is the sister. She is a little bit older, a little bit wiser, but she still goes along with what her brother wants to do. She still feels like she needs to take care of him. He is still dealing with the trauma of this horrible accident where he actually killed 2 people in it, and she just feels like she can't really leave him alone. She doesn't want to. She is gay, so a lot of the times when they're trying to get money off straight men. She has to pretend that she isn't gay, and it's not very fun for her. But even when the house pulls Robin into its fold, we're still sticking with Simone for the most part, and a lot of the book is away from the house, and I was expecting a lot more to be in the house. When you think of great haunted house stories, the Haunting of Hill House or The Shining, you're in the building for a lot longer. You get to know the real terror and the real monstrosities of the place and the property and what it can do, and you get a glimpse of that in the story, but I really would have preferred to just sit with it a little bit longer and to see other aspects of it. You get sort of one aspect of it which isn't pleasant, but I would have liked to have stayed there for a little bit longer. But Jameson's writing is very good. He crafts fantastic characters. There's some violence, a little bit of insanity in this book. There's some horrifying nightmares going on. Overall, I really liked the book. I liked the characters. I liked the sibling relationship, the brother and sister. And I liked that the characters as well were flawed. They're con artists who are conning other con artists, and even in their relationships with other people, they're damaged, they're flawed, and they're not doing everything perfectly, even with their relationship to each other as well. So I really liked it. I really liked the premise of the story, and I really liked the characters. I would have just liked to have stayed with the darkness and the evilness in it a little bit longer, but still a good read. Next up, I have Minstrels Bargain by Richard Eyre. Now, I started reading this book. It was on my review list, and I started reading it, and I drew a lot of comparisons with James Herbert's The Dark, and that's when I realised that the entire reason I was asked to review this was because Richard Eyre, the author, reached out to me. He'd seen my video reviewing The Dark by James Herbert, and he thought that I might enjoy his book because he's influenced a lot by James Herbert, and I could definitely see that in his work. So this story is set in the 80s in England. It's part one of a trilogy, and it follows a young music journalist who goes out and interviews bands and reviews gigs and stuff for the magazine he works for. And this new band comes to town. They're actually the support act for a much bigger British band. But when he goes to the gig, they blow the crowd out of the water. They blow everyone's minds. He can't believe it. There's something in the air. There's something about that gig that is just incredible to him. He can't get their music out of their head. And when the main band come on stage, everything goes wrong. Their equipment goes wrong. People get hurt, and it's just not great. And because of this gig going wrong, Minstrels Bargain, the band, the supporting act, are catapulted to fame, and in a matter of weeks, a couple of months, they are one of the biggest bands in the world. They've got a world tour coming up, and our main character is asked to interview them. But in the interim, some strange things are happening. A lot of people who were at that gig are involved in some very violent incidences against their family, their loved ones, against just people they know. And our main character begins to see a tramp, a homeless guy hanging around, staring straight at him, trying to get close to him, and he feels very uneasy about this. But he doesn't think too much of it, and he carries on with his day-to-day life, while this band, Minstrels Bargain, are all anybody can talk about. Their music's all over the radio, the records are being sold out, and everyone wants to know what is it about this band that everybody loves so much. What is it about their music that is so enticing? And the incidences keep building up with every gig, with every album release, with every play on the radio. There are violent things happening in Newcastle, where the main protagonist lives, especially. but all over the world as well. And it seems to be connected to this band and connected to this band's music, and also somehow connected to this tramp character, this homeless character who is following our main character Sturgis around. So the actual plot of the book is, of course, that there's something evil, something nefarious about this band and their music. Their music is causing people to be violent, and somebody has to stop them, who is, of course, our main character, Philip Sturgis. And it was quite like, you could definitely see where the author has been influenced by James Herbert. The Dark by James Herbert is a book where this darkness just causes people to be violent, and it's quite similar in this. We have our main couple of characters, but you get a lot of sort of snapshots into other people's home lives and work lives, and them committing horrible, vile acts towards their partners or their boss or whatever. So those bits were great. They were a great insight into sort of the wider happenings of what's going on around this band. Our main character is quite likable. He has a great girlfriend, great relationship with her. He's very good at his job. He seems to really like his job. The tramp character for me didn't really work. So our main character is the person who has sort of been chosen to be the one to stop whatever's happening with this band, and it just took a really long time for anyone to actually tell him what was going on, for anyone to actually tell him anything, really. It took, I'd say, a good almost half the book before he even put two and two together and linked these violent happenings with the band. And this tramp character who he does speak to a number of times, he just keeps holding back information while people are getting hurt, while people are dying, and it didn't feel like it was urgent at all that he do this. I think that the writing was very good, the characters were very good, the setting, I was completely immersed in the story and in 1980s England and all these music gigs and stuff. I really like being in the story. The conclusion of the story was a little bit weak for me. I don't want to give too much away, I don't want to spoil it or anything, but the manner in which he tries to fight this band and this evil, it just fell a little bit flat for me and I wasn't fully convinced by it. I wasn't fully convinced by the end of the sort of complexity of this entity, or the darkness that I was supposed to be so afraid of. But the actual story, the journey was good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the characters. I just feel like the ending could have been something different, and I felt like that about James Herbert's The Dark as well. I feel like he had an idea and he was exploring all of these things he could do with it, but he didn't really have a conclusion for it and wasn't sure where it was going, so he just ended it in some way. I'm not saying that happened with this book, but I feel like, again, the ending was just a little bit weak for me, but it was still a good read. It was another evil music story. I've had a few of those in the last few months, but if you're looking for a music-based horror book or dark fiction book, you should definitely pick up Minstrels Bargain. Next up, I have Miracle Sin by Marcus Hawk. This book was sort of interesting because I found it was originally on a I'm not 100% sure about this publishing thing, but it was an Ink Splatter, was that it? Publishing site where you can basically it's pretty much a GoFundMe for books. You make a campaign, you try and invite people and convince people to buy the book before it's actually published, and if you get enough people in whatever time frame you have, then they will publish it for you. Not 100% convinced that that's the best way to go. I don't know if I would really trust them myself, but I saw this book on that site. It looked interesting, so I bought it originally. The campaign did end with not enough people having bought the book, so I was refunded the money, but the author was so grateful that I had intended to buy it in the first place that he sent me a copy for a review. And to say that I was shocked when I got to the very end of the book and read the acknowledgements and saw my actual name in it would be an understatement. I was one of the few people who had bought it from that campaign. I think it's doing quite well now, actually, that he's just released it himself and self-published it. A lot of people seem to be liking it, so clearly that was the better way to go for him. But yeah, I wasn't expecting to see my name in the acknowledgements for this one, so strange. But regardless, my unbiased opinion of the book. So the story is centered around a teenager called Mason Cole. He is your average teenager. He has unrequited love for one of his best friends. He lives with his grandmother. He's almost at genius levels of intelligence. The thing that makes him really stand out though is that when he was quite young, he was visiting Jerusalem with both of his parents, and there was an earthquake, and he was the sole survivor of this earthquake. A lot of people died, but he somehow survived, and this sort of sets him apart and is this huge thing in his life that he's still having to deal with. But one day things take a strange turn, and him and his friends are sort of kidnapped by these two very strange police officers who want to do them harm. He manages to get them out of that situation, arrives home, and there is a stranger in his house. And there's a strange man in his house, and an even stranger man arrives at the door. He seems to be very otherworldly, very pale, red hair, possibly Irish, who knows, and very violent, and he ends up killing Mason's grandmother and starting this whole journey of Mason's where he is brought into this sort of underground wing of the Catholic Church that has been set up almost like a secret service army setup to try and combat the evils that are out there. So there are vampires, there are demons, there are real horrors that people don't believe in anymore, but the small sect of people, these small fighters, a couple of priests, there's army people here, have teamed up and are working to try and keep the evil at bay, and now they want Mason to join their ranks because he is the key to getting rid of this current, oh, that heats up, getting rid of this current evil that is threatening them all. He is believed to be the chosen one, the one chosen by the Holy Spirit, who actually has the Holy Spirit imbued into them and can do incredible superhero-like things because of this. So he is brought to this compound now, and he has to try and train up to fight this big evil. So that's the sort of main plot of the story. The book is quite in-depth, it's quite rich, it's very, if you like Constantine, I love the movie Constantine, why am I saying Constantine? If you like Constantine, the movie, if you like sort of good versus evil, but you're not too into getting behind actual priests. That was a weird thing to say. You might like this. So the whole story centers around this fight between good and evil, between God and the devil, or angels and demons. There's a lot of sort of, not too much of it, but there's some philosophical talk about dualities and paradoxes, and that's one reason why the book is called Miracle Sin, two quite different things. But it was right up my alley. I knew I would be interested in it. That's why I was interested in it in the first place, because I'm always in it for demons and fighting against demons. Mason is quite very average teenager, very average teenage boy with his wants and motivations, but you really feel for him because he's lost so much of his family. I did find the writing to be quite funny at times as well, which I really appreciate in horror books and in sort of more serious, darker fiction as well. I really do appreciate some humour in there, and there were some quite funny bits in the book, but for the most part it's more of your sort of classic chosen one has to go and get trained up to fight the one that they're supposed to fight. But I really enjoyed Marcus Hawke's writing. I really enjoyed the other characters in the sort of team that he is a part of, and yeah, I think it really it worked. I think he achieved what he set out to do. I think it's a great book. I think it's quite long, so it's 478 pages, so if you're looking for a good chunker to really get your teeth sunk into, and you like reading about the fight against evil, about demons, about characters who are just there to cause chaos, they don't really have morals or motivations themselves, I would definitely check this one out because it is very interesting. And you'll also see my name somewhere in the back. Weird. And last but not least, we have Grim Fate by Nico Young, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. So this one is another one about demons. Have all of these been about demons? Anyway, this is another one about demons. So we're straight in with our main character, Grim, and he is a paranormal investigator, and he's been asked to come to this guy's house. He lives there with his 2 young children, and there's some weird goings on in the house, and this guy is worried that it might be affecting his children. So our main character has to go in here. While he's there, he's also looking for signs of any neglect to the children, any kind of harm to them that might have nothing to do with ghosts, because he has had in the past an investigation where it turned out it was actually the parents who were harming the children, so he's very wary of that as well. But in this case, there is something paranormal, something supernatural going on in this house, and he has to try and figure out why. And of course, Grim Fate being the name, it seems to be tied somehow to his past, and it seems that he may have been called to this house for a reason, and the reason being that it needed specifically to be him to get rid of whatever's going on in this house. I don't really want to give away too much. I don't want to spoil it. A lot of the book happens in a sort of another plane, where he's talking to dead people, where he's talking to ghosts and other entities, and he's sort of going through these things that they want to show him, to explain to him what is actually happening and what has led to this point. So a lot of the book is sort of, the story is told retrospectively. I enjoyed the writing. I enjoyed the character of Grim and some of the other characters he encounters. There is some horrible things done to children, just as a trigger warning, so you may want to avoid it if you want to avoid those things, but it's not terribly graphic. I personally don't like that either, but it wasn't terribly graphic in this, it's just referenced. But I feel like it got into this other place a little bit too quickly. You're in the house with Grimm and he's talking to this dad, and then he's in this other dimension, and 90% of the book is in this other dimension. You don't explore a lot of the house, you don't explore a lot of the family in the present moment. A lot of it is retrospectively being told to you. There are bits that are connected to Grimm's life and his childhood and his parents as well, but I feel like I didn't really get enough time to know him in the present, to really care as much as I could have about things that had happened to him in the past, or why they were impacting him right now. So it was different. It was different. It was something a little bit interesting, but I really think a better solid foundation at the start of the book in the real world, in the present moment, would have made the other plane a little bit more interesting. But as it stood, it felt a little bit weak on that front for me. But I did enjoy the book. I'd probably give it about 3 stars. I haven't rated the other ones actually. So I think just for a star rating, Breaksbeer Haul I think would be 4 stars. Minstrels Bargain would be 4 stars as well. Miracle Sin for me would probably be about 4.5. And Grim Fate would be 3, just because it was just a little bit too rushed into the weirdness, into the paranormal parts of it, and I think that really did impact how I felt about the character. So I did like the character of Grimm. I liked how he interacted with the other characters as well. Would have liked to get more of a sense of him though before he went into this other weird place. There were some secrets to unravel, some threads to pull on, which was interesting, and the writing was very easy to follow, compelling you into the story, into the setting, and these people's lives. But I think that, yeah, there was a little bit too much missing for me. It wasn't really grounded enough for it to then switch into this other place. But it was still, it was a good book. I enjoyed it. So those are my 4 recent horror reads. Let me know if you've read any of these, or if you plan on reading any of these. They all seem to have something to do with demons, which is alright with me. I'm quite fond of a good demon story. So thank you so much for joining me. I have a couple more videos lined up for this week, and I also have a giveaway announcement. So if you're interested in getting some free books and free book goodies, you should stay tuned, because I will have a video on the 1st of April for that. So thank you so much for joining me. If you like what I'm doing here, you can like and subscribe down below, and I shall see you in the next video.